We're Howard and Caitlin Newstate. We've been traveling full-time in our Winnebago Navion since 2018, racking up 30,000 miles on the RV exploring North America.
Wow.
When we can, we trade our wheels for wings and have visited incredible places abroad like Budapest, the Canary Islands, Munich, Croatia, and even Chernobyl. Earlier this year, we headed south of the border to Mexico.
We're in Mexico.
Woo! Where we've been RVing and exploring for over 2 months. In last week's episode, we walked in the footsteps of a lost civilization on the ancient grounds of Teotihuacan, just outside of Mexico City. And today we try more delicious street food, say adios to the RVs for a bit and check into an Airbnb in Mexico City, and head out to visit Xochimilco, where we were invited to learn about the ancient art of growing crops on floating islands called Chinampas.
On the weekends, the town square comes alive, and all of these little pop-up stores appear. So Dennis and Liz right now are shopping for jewelry, but there's also like little art and trinkets, various food sellers, all in the square.
Photographic evidence that there was some delicious thing here yesterday.
There were delicious tacos here earlier. Yeah. So this is video from earlier, photographic proof, and there was a little kitchen right here with like glass. I mean, it was nice, and they had little stools and everything.
Not now.
No. It was 10 peso tacos, 50 cents.
Dang. What is it? Pambazo?
Pambazo.
And you've already had one, right?
No.
That's different.
I guess that is what we had. So this is our second pambazo of the night. It's chorizo. It's kind of like a torta, but it's flatbread instead of the spongier white bread that a normal torta would be. Tortas are like closer to like a American sandwich. If you were eating it like on French bread, I guess would be the way to look like.
I just want to know which one you like better.
Yeah.
I like this better.
This better than the other one?
The bread is crunchier, so it's easier to hold. The other one was like kind of spongy and weird. It was
Kind of floppy.
Yeah. This one is crispier. Very good. This is chocolate, amaranth, and corn.
And something else that we don't know.
And something else we don't know is a seed. Oh, that's delicious.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like, it does taste like oats. Wow. Well, there it is. Look, see the pineapple? No. It's like Hawaii meets Mexico. Those are really good. Well, dogs are like children, so they need their own bags, they need their own sleeping stuff, they need their own food. So about 60% of this is actually for the dogs. I still got to get them. We're on like about an hour-long Uber ride, but this really nice gentleman is letting us ride with our dogs. So that's a bonus.
Dust it down there, man.
Oh yeah, come on.
Oh, wait. Tiny elevators.
Sit.
Someone push for it forward.
No, it's okay. Come on in.
I don't think it's gonna fit. Okay.
You'll fit. You'll fit. There you go.
Outfit. Number 4.
Quattro.
Okay.
How you doing there? This.
You'd think we were moving in for life.
You excited to see your wife again?
Oh man, I haven't seen my wife in like 72 hours, man.
Oh man.
It's a long one.
3 days, right?
She left Thursday. Today's Monday.
Oh,
Should we leave water around Piers?
96 hours. Baby! You made it! So, yeah.
Yes, I'm tired of traveling.
Are you ready to change your clothes so you can travel some more to the restaurant?
Yeah, that I can travel.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, hi babies! This is so cute. What? The next morning, we took an hour Uber ride out to the city of Xochimilco. With its famous canals lined with colorfully painted boats, this area is a weekend hotspot for locals and tourists alike who often rent the floating works of art for picnics and parties. But we were headed there for a different reason, to learn about the mission to restore a 2,000-year-old method of agriculture. We met up with Ricardo, the founder of De la Chinampas. He's a former banker who has pivoted away from the world of finance and made it his life's mission to work with the families of this area to restore the Chinampas here, floating islands used as a Mesoamerican form of agriculture. This is so cool. They have the table set up for us for lunch. It's beautiful. When you book an eco-tour with De la Chinampas, not only will you get a rich cultural experience, but you'll be treated to a delicious meal prepared with fresh ingredients straight from the gardens here. The Café de Olla, or coffee of pot, made with natural sugar cane and cinnamon, was prepared for us that morning by Ricardo's wife. And you still get the boat ride experience, but no motors here. These floating masterpieces are man-powered, often by one person using a single pole, pushing along the bottom of the shallow canal to propel us forward. It makes for quite a peaceful ride as Ricardo shared the history of this incredible area.
This is a very important area for us. Xochimilco, it's a balance between the city and Xochimilco. And if one of them disappears, all the entire city collapses. And what is a Chinampa, you ask me? The Chinampa, it's a small island in the middle of the lake. No? It's just different leads of roots, wood, and branches.
This area is of such cultural and historical significance that it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. In this part of the lake, no one lives on these man-made islands. Instead, their sole purpose is agriculture and the occasional recreational activity like a soccer match or performance. This is one of the dishes that we're eating today. These vegetables were actually harvested for us yesterday. So we've got carrots and cucumbers, and what they do is they squeeze the lime onto them and then sprinkle it with tahini and salt, and it's a tasty little snack. Even cooler that it came from here.
You have in the table a local gastronomy. Why? Because in Mexico City, everybody wants to eat corn in Mexico. In every table, every restaurant, every house, every hotel, everything in Mexico have tortillas. In that pot, you have tamales oaxaqueños. It's a kind of, it's masa of corn, meal of corn, wrapped in a banana leaf with tomatillo sauce and chicken. It's really good.
Sauce is actually pretty rich. There's some heat to it, a little spicy. Shredded chicken that's really moist and delicious. And the corn tamale is really good.
And you have totopo chips. The totopo chips are made with the corn who we harvest in the last season, no? And in the jar you have tamarind water. It's a fresh water because in Mexico always you found in any market you found aguas frescas, no?
The cheese, he tells us, is from happy cows because they live here and they have no stress.
Oh, happy cows make happy cheese.
Yeah. After lunch, we floated over to Ricardo's Chinampa, where he gave us a tour of his gardens and greenhouses.
My first time standing on a man-made island in a lake. It's just beautiful farmland everywhere.
This is a Chinampa. It's a small Chinampa. We built the Chinampa 2 weeks ago because we made a documentary of how to build a Chinampa. They put the stakes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we cut the grass and we put the leaves of the trees and put a lid of grass and then another lid of mud, another lid of roots, and then again 3 lids, and then you have the Chinampa.
It's pretty hard to believe that this entire area that we're standing on started off just like that little Chinampa that he showed us. And they just keep layering and layering and growing until it's this massive island like this. And what's cool too is that it's actually really squishy. Like, look at the grass. In the beginning, he was working with one local restaurant in Mexico City to provide fresh produce.
Beet, peas, celery.
The very next year, he had partnered with 20 local restaurants, including some of the very best in Mexico City. He started with 2 farmers and now has a total of 45.
Come on.
So Ricardo has about 90 plots here on this Chinampa. There are 22,000 Chinampas here, but 90% of them are actually abandoned. So it's kind of a dying art, which is very sad because you can grow organic, healthy produce in a great way, in a sustainable way here.
The farmers take the mud from the bottom of the canal and bring here, and then they make a bed of mud. Wanna try the peas? It's a sweet pea.
Sweet peas. They're so good.
Flowers, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's really fresh.
See them?
Oh yeah.
It really is incredible to think that this agricultural mecca exists just right outside the city limits. Mexico City is the 5th largest city in the world. So the fact that this is right here, so close, is pretty incredible.
Know your food, know your farmer, because we need to back to the basics again. We need to learn to make that.
I want to thank our host Ricardo from De La Chinampa for showing us around all day today.
It's been absolutely amazing. I think the really cool thing about this specific tour is that it's an eco tour and you're actually learning how they are cultivating all of the crops here and the history behind it. And he's been doing this now for 12 years and it started off as a passion. So it's a really neat perspective. You get so much more than just taking a boat tour out and partying on the water here, which is an experience in and of itself, but really cool way to learn about this area.
Definitely a must stop if you're in Mexico City.
On next week's Mexico Monday episode, we'll take you even deeper into the cultural mecca of Mexico City, where we expand our palate on a food tour.
Our octopus is so good.
And explore the historical sights and breathtaking beauty of a city that is slowly sinking.
Your eyes aren't deceiving you. That church is actually slanted.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.